G'day guys, and welcome to a bit of a different episode today. If you know me well at all, you'll know that I'm a pretty big fan of the TV show Alone. If you're not familiar with the show, I'll whack a link in the description and go check it out. If you're watching this channel, you really should be watching Alone. So basically, it's a show where 10 people get dropped out in the middle of nowhere, and they are allowed to take 10 items with them. There's a very strict set of rules on the 10 items they're allowed to take, but they're allowed to take 10 items. And it's the last man standing. Simple as that. So I thought it might be fun to do a video on what 10 items I would take if I went on Alone. And who knows, one day that may be a reality. You never know. So I've gone on their website and I looked at their rules. I'll put a link in the description for the rules page as well if you're interested. There's too much for me to go through. Some items are given to you. Some items are prohibited. There's a whole system. So let's do it. Let's go through my 10 items that I would go through if I was on Alone. The first item I would take would be a cooking pot. I don't think you can survive in any environment without the ability to purify water. And you don't want to take water purification tablets or a life straw or anything like that. You need multi-purpose, and cooking pot can cook your food. It can purify your water. I don't think that's a vital item to take. So first item would be a cooking pot. Next three items are obvious. We need a good knife, we need a good saw, and we need a good axe. So I would include, first up, my Mora Garberg. I feel that that is a knife that would do the job. I like having a knife, a saw, and an axe. It's the holy trinity of camping for me and bushcrafting. I wouldn't really want to go anywhere without them. The axe is really good for self-defense, as weird as that may sound. And you can't saw every single tree and every piece of wood you need. At least not with my little girly arms anyway. Sometimes you just need an axe. So I would take my knife for, you know, the small detail jobs, any carving I want to do, for batoning wood, just for the all-purpose thing really. My axe, I would take my Granfors Bruks axe, small forest axe. I could probably use something a little bigger than that, but it's what I have. So that's obviously for cutting the bigger timbers down and for self-defense. My fourth item would be my Agawa Canyon Boreal 21 saw. A really good saw. It's lightweight, it folds down, it's compact, and it's yet to meet a bit of wood it can't chop. So those three to me give me all my fuel, defense, crafting, bushcraft, camping, everything I need to be wrapped up in those three items. But that's a big toll. I mean, that's 3 out of 10 items. My fifth item, sleeping bag. Depending where we go would depend on the temperature rating of the sleeping bag, but you'd have to have a sleeping bag. You can't live without that. That goes without saying. Now the next two are interesting. This is where it starts getting down to the nitty-gritty. There's a lot of things I could take. They give you a tarp, so I don't need a tarp. I'm not taking a tent, that's stupid. I'm chosen not to take any cordage at all, which is a big call, and you'll see why at the end. Now, I can do friction fires, but as we know, I hate them. So I would choose to take a ferro rod and a striker. The reason for that, it's reliable. Way more reliable than friction fires. How many times do you see people on shows and just being in the experience yourself where you need to use your friction fire, your bow drill, your hand drills, and that doesn't take. I don't know about you guys, but that drives me crazy. So for peace of mind and for a little bit of fire security, would need to take the ferro rods. So I'll take my existing ferro rod. It does the job, it's big, it's chunky. I'd probably drill a hole in it and attach it to my belt or something. Don't want to do a Joe Robinette. Poor bugger, lost his ferro rod and he just couldn't go on after that in season 1. Really felt for him. So I'll definitely take a ferro rod. Now this is where the twist begins. There's a hell of a lot of things I could take, and if you look at the link, you'll see the list of allowed items. But I'm a vegetarian. I've been a vegetarian for about almost 20 years now. But I think to be successful and to be able to thrive to a degree on such shows as Alone, I need to take fishing line and hooks, and that's allowed as one item. I haven't eaten fish for as I said, 20 years. I don't like the idea of it, but if I ever get to the point where going on this show is an actual feasible option, I may have to learn to eat fish. I wouldn't like it. It would make me sick to the core and would probably shake me up a bit morally and ethically as well. But it's something I would have to do. And I would hope that I would be able to do it mentally. I mean, to be honest, I'd prefer to eat insects. I could probably eat a cricket, roast it on the fire, smash it down. I could probably do that. I could probably eat a grub. Again, cook the shit out of it, but I could probably eat a grub over the fire. I could not eat a bird. I could not eat any kind of animal with 4 legs and a face. This is not possible for me. It's just not who I am. But a fish I may be able to justify in my mind. It's clean meat. It's a good source of omega-3s, so it's good for the brain, it's good for the muscles. I may just be able to get away with that. So I'll take a fishing line and hope I never have to use it, but I would have to. Obviously, if I'm on alone, my foraging and my bush tucker knowledge would need to be significantly improved on what it is today. Now this is where it gets controversial. As a vegetarian, I could take 3 more items. I could take cordage, I could take tarp, I could take so many things. You saw the list. I did decide to put the list up, as you saw. But the last 3 items would be rations. And I don't think anyone's ever done that in the history of the show. I'm not even sure if that's allowed. But that's what I would do. It's a product called Gorp. It's basically sultanas, almonds, and M&Ms. So you got proteins in the almonds, you got sugar in the M&Ms, and you got carbs and sugar in the raisins. So they allow you to take as one item 2.25 kilos of Gorp. And that's a bag. That's a pretty decent bag. I mean, it's a decent bag. I don't know how to describe it to you. I'm going to choose to take 7.75 kilos of Gorp, 3 items worth. And that will, I think, would provide me some decent rations to get me through a week or 2. I mean, let's be honest, if I went on alone and I cracked a week or 2, and then I got into the swing of fishing, I reckon once I overcame that mental hurdle, I could go pretty far. I could do okay. I could prevent tapping out instantly, at least, I think. So 3 servings of rations. Pretty different. If you see what everyone else takes, it's not that. So I like that. I think that's a decent set. I think it's a decent kit. So I've got to read it off my list. So cooking pot, knife, saw, axe, sleeping bag. You almost can't avoid those. A ferro rod, you can't avoid that. A fishing kit, you almost can't avoid that either. And then the 3 kilos, the 3 servings of rations. So that would be mid-2018 what I would take as my 10 items. There may reach a point, if my development significantly improves, where I actually apply to go on the show. But that remains to be seen. I've got a lot of work to do to get to that point. So what would be your 10 items? Seriously, share them in the comments. I'm actually genuinely interested. Look at the list, see what you're allowed to do. If you're one of my YouTubing buddies and you're watching this, post a video. Link it to me so I know you posted. I'm really curious what people would take. I think it's a fun exercise to do. Let's see how we're all different. Let's see what strategies you use. Anyway, I found this really fun to sit down and make the list. And I thought it's a bit of fun content, something to think about. Please, if you're bored, put in the comments what you would take. We're all interested in this world. And if you haven't watched Alone, do it, man. It's a really good show. It's really, really cool. So yeah. I hope you found this interesting. Give it a like. Give my channel a subscribe if you haven't already done so. And have a really good day, guys. Until next time. Oh, I'm not winking. That's so lame. Until next time, I'll do the whole this one. And, yep, bye.